when the ordinary creeps underneath your skin, you know your inner world is off to a rocky start when that starts to happen. I mean, it felt like my very core was being held up by stilts. You know, those things where people walk. I saw one time where one of those legs came out from underneath, and the person walking just gave up. Just trust fell to the flat floor. And I mean, just trusted his back for the security of the rest of himself. I heard chewing last night. Somebody was chewing. And it's just, that's not supposed to mess with you at all, right? Somebody else gaining sustenance so they can go about their day. But the chewing now, usually, you got a couple variation of chewers, right? You got your elegant chewers, your no noisers. But for whatever reason, and I live with someone who is an elegant chewer. Love you, honey. But for whatever reason, it sounded like somebody was doing UFC inside of her mouth. On the outside, it looked like everything was business as usual. But for some reason, the noise that it was creating was fracturing me to my very core. You also have your gobsmackers. Now I've been accused and convicted of this many a time, so I'm not. You can't place too much blame. That's why I didn't say anything. I kept it all on the inside. But your gobsmackers, oh, that's the one where just the thought of cheeks pressing together creates a thunderous boom that lets everybody know you're trying to enjoy something. It's not enjoyable to anybody else, but to you, you have to make the sensation match the ambiance of what's occurring. Oh my goodness, though, the chewing that was, I mean, I couldn't get over it. I literally was having one on one conversation. Like, I need to stop what's happening. The noise was so consistent. It was one of those times where you wish you could lose one of your senses. You know, the five basic ones. Because any other time one of those things goes, it's akin to losing a foot. Like, if you woke up and you were missing a foot, you're thinking, oh, I got two of those. Yeah, but now you can't walk. Okay, so losing one of your senses, that's a tough way to go about things. And sometimes they say that your other senses or one of your other senses might get stronger or enhanced because the other one doesn't work. And sometimes you gotta do some correlation, right? Like, I'm visually impaired. I can't even see over there. However, you would think that maybe my ears, my listening skills would increase, because you got to base your surroundings off anything like a bat, right? They're mapping it out via them, well, bat ears. Sonar location. I didn't get any of that. I can't hear what? That's my go-to line anytime anybody's talking to me. Huh? What? It's either a huh or a what or a very confused, confuddled, don't know what you're saying look. I once was walking with somebody and I go, "Is your phone ringing?" And sure enough, I mean this ringer was on that of a silence that you couldn't hear. I mean, it was worse than an atom passing through the cosmos. I mean, there was no sound happening. And they're like, "Wow, that's incredible." And I thought, no, that was a shot in the dark. In fact, I just didn't like the silence that was occurring as we were walking. And that was the only thing that I can think of to break the silence. Something just basic, nonchalant. I didn't even care if it was real. I just couldn't enjoy what was happening right there. And sure, you nailed it. So I'm sitting there and oh, taste. That's another one where it's like what's the opposite or what's a feeling that could go or get enhanced with taste? Maybe feel, right? Cuz you got to have some sort of sensation, right? You wouldn't want to be eating like a porcupine or a cactus, right? If you couldn't taste it, that's one thing, but if you couldn't feel it, ouch. I thought I lost my sense of taste. I started having this beverage, and a beverage has some sort of flavor, right? It's not just water. So, but I was drinking this thing and nothing. To the point where my whole body froze and I had an internal inspection on who, what, when, why, what was going on. You try and go through each. I got all my limbs. Seems like blood's moving around somewhere along there. And because and then I started inspecting the drink, thinking, am I even having a beverage? Like, what kind of mindscape is going on right now where I can't do feelings? So, and then I go, okay, well, maybe that was just, a fluke of nature. So I go for another drink, and instantly my brain told me what was the problem. And as per usual, me. I was drinking this beverage so fast, I didn't even have time to comprehend the sensation of communications from my nerves to my brain to communicate that there was any flavor presence going on. I was down in this thing like a waterfall gushing out of a dam. I don't know what was possessing me to drink so fast that I lost all of taste. That's like, when people think E on a car is just a suggestion. They're just like, it's a roll of the dice. It's so crazy. Like, they're just like, oh, sometimes you see that red indicator light forced past E. It's just running on hopes and fumes. I mean, you got to wonder how anybody thinks their car is going to make it to anywhere. That was like a preference on my girlfriend's car was less than E. The only time that car got filled up is when I got in and was like, I'm gonna have to push it to where it needs to go. I ran into that occurrence the other day trying to save a buck. I don't know what it was. The thought of saving a few cents by going to a specific gas station that I only had about a 36% remembrance of how to get there. And my car was already sucking on grass. I mean, there was nothing left inside. But I thought, no, I can make it to an unknown location in the middle of nowhere with no hopes. I mean, I passed, like one of those spots where it's like you either hit this gas station or nothing. That's what I had. I was like, no. My sense of direction is keen like a hawk. I'm going this way. I've never been so stressed out. I was gripping the steering wheel and literally using my body to help perpetual motion move this thing. I was trying every trick in the book. I use cruise control as a method of fuel conservation, thinking, well, if I'm only going one speed, then it's not utilizing the gasometric pressures within the vehicle's consumption, and I can keep a level steady. That lasted until about a light. And then I was like, oh, you can't just not stop. And then on any incline going down, I just put it in neutral and just let the forces of the earth and physics propel me forward. I had never been so happy making it to that gas station. By the time I pulled up, I didn't even get gas. I made it. I tried driving away before the car stalled. But it's those questions you really got to ask yourself. I also heard an owl. Tell me that ain't the most fake noise you've ever heard in your entire life. Who do you? I mean, I swear, I thought there was just like a person on the other side of this parking lot just being crazy. Because for one, where owls are nocturnal, which means you gotta like be out in the middle of the night near a peccary. I think that's where they hang out, or like tree houses, reading books or something, sucking on lollipops. And it took me so long, and then it took the consistency of a cricket to bring me back to reality, because there is nothing more consistent and authentic than a cricket. They are just non-stop. They've got one tone, one beat, and they are just here to stay. What do they have to say for that long? I don't understand. I couldn't wrap my brain around the incessant need of this cricket. I mean, maybe it was responding to the owl, because the owl was like, "Ooh," and the cricket was like, "It's me." I mean, I don't know what kind of pan Pacific, like East versus West. This side, I own these squares. I don't know what was going on. But what's when you hear those noises in unnatural areas where you got to question some things. I worked at a theme park one time, and all of a sudden, people are in line for this ride, and it's like a ski lift that goes up like 70 feet in the air to a giant screen, and you smell some stuff. And everyone starts like whispering around, like, I think I hear an animal in this. And there's nothing but people at a theme. Like last time I checked, this wasn't a zoo, okay? Like, and there wasn't like an escape. And then all of a sudden, someone goes, okay, I think this person has a dog in their purse. Like, there's no way. Like, all I hear is like this barking noise. And so, of course, I've got to go over there and question, because you can't let a dog go up 70 feet. I mean, the altitude alone. So I go over and, you just got to ask, hey, you got a dog with you? Seemingly being serious, but semi being like, come on, like there's not a. And of course, they follow up, no, of course not. Rough, rough, rough. Or bark, whatever is more, listener friendly. Like, oh, hey, wait a minute. They try to like dissuade the notion that that's what it was. They go, oh man, I'm kind of hungry. Like, what kind of stomach growl has a little chihuahua noise? I don't think so. I think there's a. Now I'm convinced you can't bring a dog on. Where do you expect them to put the dog? Like, they had the dog in a bag, and they were just gonna put it in like the underseat compartment, which is just like a nylon bag, which will then be hanging from the sky. You can't be hanging animals from the sky unless they've got wings. They don't belong in the sky. And even some that do have wings, questionable their need to be up there. Okay? And with that, yeah, watch out. I'm going to start looking for, dogs on the roof. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.